so that people aren't ever left in the dust. So a very responsive person. Clearly, if you look at their, you know, you don't hear anything bad about them, like, oh, they don't pay their host, they don't do this, they don't do that. Responsive. Also check their host boards. That's another thing. It's not, and don't get this misconstrued, it's not the agent's job to gift their host a tier. That's not what I'm saying. But if you go to every single one of my host boards, you will see me on there to some degree. I gift my hosts based off their performance. So if you're doing, you know, a really good tier, I'm gonna come and drop on you a little bit more, just like as a thank you, because you're the reason that my agency is succeeding. But it's not my job to sit there and gift you your entire tier. You know, I do it based off of your performance. You know, some agents don't gift their host at all. Another thing would be, you know, if they have training. That's another thing to really look at, is ask them if they have training. What sort of training do they offer? All of that stuff. So if they have, like for me, example, I host 4 trainings a month. I have 2 agents or 2 managers, and they will host two trainings each a month. So, and those are for newbie trainings. I'm still working through like a secondary training on, you know, once you get used to it. I'm also trying to come up with something on how to deal with gifters because gifters, for example, are very hard to maneuver on here. Yeah, gifters are very hard to maneuver on here. Coming, you know, as a girl on a platform where, you know, guys are gifting you, they want your attention. It can be a lot. It can be overwhelming, and that's something that I really have been thinking about trying to do something for, because it is really hard to maneuver that. And you know, gifters get mad at you. They want your full attention. They get jealous, and it's something that it's not for everybody, and it can really overwhelm a lot of people. And then also see if they have any incentives. Now that doesn't mean, oh, like, you know, you get like dragons a month just for doing your hours. That's not what I'm talking about. So for example, like for my agency, I switch it up every month and I do different incentives. Sometimes it might be diamonds, sometimes it might be BIGO merch. Because BIGO does have, I think personally, the best merch out of all the platforms I've been on. Oh, thank you. But for example, for this month, what am I doing this month? Oh, the people, whoever recruits the most people to my agency this month, being that TT is now, you know, going through it, we were trying to bring a lot of people over, they actually get a BIGO dino for me. So if you're in my agency, you recruit the most people, you get a BIGO dino. If you do your hours by the 15th, which this one already happened, you can get a BIGO bag for me. You get like an entry into a raffle, so I'm going to raffle that off in the next few days. Sometimes I'll do, if you do a perfect 62 hours in that month, you get 5K from me next month, which I'm doing this month. So if you do your perfect hours this month, you get 5K diamonds from me the following month. And I switch those up every month. I try to do different things. I'll do dragon raffles, I'll do merch raffles, I'll do, you know, just things to keep my hosts wanting to be active. And that's another thing that a lot of agents don't do. Not saying that's not a requirement. So if your agent isn't doing that, that doesn't mean they're a bad agent. That's just something I personally do to keep my hosts active. Oh, thank you, Brad. Hold on, I need water. My mouth's dry. Talking for an hour is not easy. But like I was saying in the beginning, the term agency is very scary. So, you know, when people come on here, they're new, they just go live, they don't know anything, and then a bunch of agents come in there and start harassing them like, hey, like, you need an agency, da-da-da-da-da. It's scary. It actually turns a lot of people off. So it's one of those things, like, it's scary. And you know, I don't like the term agency. Like, I understand, like, that's what we are, but it's coming from like what I do, modeling and stuff like that, agency sounds so like scammy. It really does, because there's so many scammy agencies when it comes to modeling or content creation that they just take most of your money. Because do they provide training? So the BIGO Bean Rush, I honestly don't know too much about because I've never done it myself. I do know that you can get in there, and it's more of like a, from what I understood from when I went to the BIGO Toronto BIGOCon, it's more of like a weekly thing than it is a monthly thing. I don't know if there's any training for that personally, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't recommend it. I guess it's just more for people who don't have the hours and time to put in. It is weekly. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. However, personally, I don't know even what the pay chart looks like. I've never really looked into it that much because all the people that I recruit to here just come to my agency and they don't know anything about it. But now I do know, because I do have a lot of people that come over that are influencers, that there's those influencer contracts where if you have a certain amount of followers, you can get paid just for bringing people to the app. So I do sign them up for that. Yeah, I don't really know. I'm not gonna sit here and badmouth it. I wouldn't recommend it to my people, but that's honestly because I'm trying to get them in my agency and get them to what I'm comfortable teaching them. And I don't really know like every detail of the Bean Rush program, other than it's more of a weekly thing. Like, I don't really know much more than that. I briefly heard it at Toronto. But I just remember we were all very confused, and I was like, I don't know much about this. But yeah, also another thing to look at, not that this is like the only thing that makes a good agent, is look at BIGO's Instagram. Look at BIGO's other social media. You can see who BIGO be posting. You can see who BIGO be promoting like on their socials. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm on there a lot. BIGO, I go to a lot of BIGO events. BIGO knows me, the admins know me. I have a good relationship with them. Yeah, of course. Different incentives. Come up with different incentives, Osiris, but you also have to think, like, make sure the incentives aren't going to make you pay out more than what you should be, you know? So you got to make it worth it for your agency. Like, what does your agency need this month? Does your agency need new recruits? Does your agency need new, like, more hours streamed? Does your agency need, like, do you have a lot of people in your agency, but a lot of them aren't active? So make an incentive to get those people back to streaming. What's going to make them want to come back? And that's what I try to change about my incentives every month, is what is my agency lacking and what do I need to work on? Yeah, and when your agency does perform, there are different incentives. Like, my agency got 70, 75, 80% slots, like time slots for rebates last month, stuff like that. So, you know, better performing agencies do get better events that you can sign up for. You know, I do go to a lot of BIGO, like, in-person events. I get invited to all of them. And I have brought my hosts and my family members to them that didn't get invited. I've gotten them invited. So if that's something you're also looking for, like, especially people coming from TT that want to do more networking and content creation, if that's something you're looking for, you want to be able to go and network with other live streamers, content creators in person. Like, I got to go to VidCon. Like, you probably would want an agent that does that stuff, you know? Like, I was in an agency. I've only ever been in 2 agencies on here. The one when I started, and then I switched to Kyra. A lot of you guys know Kyra. I switched to Kyra a few months ago now. And the reason I switched to Kyra, if I'm being real, is because I see a lot of myself in her. Yeah, that's family stuff. I see a lot of myself in Kyra. Like, she does a lot of in-person events. She does a lot of you know, she does modeling. Like, she has like her modeling stuff outside of Bigo, and I know that she gets her hosts into events. She gets her hosts into, you know, different, like, she got me this 70% like rebates through her, stuff like that. She really pushes her hosts to the top of the app. Like, she really wants their names to get out there, and that's what I wanted. I want more visibility on the app, so I went with an agent that I know could do that. Some people come on here and all they want is money. They just want to make money. So you go with someone that's strictly just get on, do your hours, get your beans, do your rebates, get off. Like that, you don't want to you don't want to go to events. You don't really care about being a face on the app, stuff like that. There's different agents for everyone. But personally for me, I've always wanted to be a social media influencer. That's why I started live streaming. That's why I started content creation. So live streaming isn't everything for me. I just want to be known. I want to be the face of something, and you know, so I decided to choose an agent that I felt could best help me with that. So if that's something you want, I could definitely do that for you as well. I've gotten some of my hosts when I first became an agent into different advertisements on Bigo. Like, they sent selfies in and Bigo used them on advertisements for the agency and stuff like that, so they were on the homepage for a while. You know, if that's something that interests you too. But I don't know if anyone else has any questions. I just talked a shit ton. I used to take my downtime with this poetry. I just know that the term, like, you need an agency, like, when people go into new people's streams and they say you need an agency, it's very, 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 like, intimidating. Because I mean, I still do say, like, I'm an agent, but I don't approach it in that way. Like, when I approach, like, my friends, like, on Instagram or TT or wherever I'm recruiting from, and I say, hey, like, I'm not sure if you ever thought about live streaming, or if they're already a live streamer. You know, I know you live stream on here, but I'm actually a big streamer on a platform called Bigo. If you ever wanted to try it out, let me know, or like, I could give you more info. And they'll usually say yeah, or whatever they say, if they do say yeah. And I'll say, yeah, so like, if you get on this app and give me a follow, I can get you set up to become an official paid host. That's what I'll say, a paid streamer. Because a lot of other platforms don't call it host. So when I say host, they're like, what the hell is that? So I'll usually say, like, if you give me a follow on Bigo, I can get you set up to become an official paid streamer. That's what I say personally, because when I say I can get you set up with my agency, it just sounds like I'm gonna get you set up for my own personal gain, and that's like that's not what it is, really. I mean, yeah, like, do I benefit from you being in my agency? If you hit a tier and you do your stuff, yeah, but like, in reality, like, I'm trying to help you because you're not gonna make as much money if you're not a host. So I'll usually say, like, if you want to become an official paid streamer, I can help you set up with that. And then once I go over everything with them, I send them the link. I'll say, hey, like, this is my agency. And then if they ask questions about the agency, then I'll let them know, like, hey, like, this is just to get you that monthly bonus. Without it, you won't get the monthly bonus, and you'll just make 30% of all the gifts that you get. Ty said, what are the requirements to host? So, like, from what I understand, there's really not many requirements. As long as you can put in the time, so 30 hours a month, which isn't really a lot. However, Bigo only allows up to 2 hours a day, which I think is good. I think Bigo should up it to 3. Bigo, if you're listening, you should up it to 3. But 2 hours a day counts. So that's just Bigo's way of trying to get you to be more consistent. So that you don't just do 10 hours a day, 10 hours a day, 10 hours a day and be done. It's 32 hours a month now. Still 30 from what I understand. Is it 32? Maybe for the overseas tier. So 30 hours a month is minimum. However, most people, if you're hitting tiers, you're probably going to want to do at least 32. Mine said 32 for tier 1. Well, I'm not sure who your agent is, but you should probably look that up. Yeah, I don't think it is trimmer. I think they're looking at the overseas tier maybe. David, welcome in. Yeah, I would definitely ask your agent about that. You might be looking at the chart. So for USA and Canada, if you're in USA and Canada, there's 2 tiers. There's a in-region tier and there's a overseas tier. And the in-region tier is anyone who gifts you from USA and Canada, and the minimum for that is 30 hours and 10K. And 10K beans a month. Overseas, if someone gifts you outside of USA and Canada, the minimum is 32. Plan A is 3 hours per day. Yeah, I think that's not what most people are assigned to. Like the plan B is what most people are assigned to. I'm an agent. Oh, nice. So the overseas tier, yeah, because you never know like how many you're gonna get. So I always tell people not to just go for 30 because you could end up getting a higher tier and now you have to do 2 more hours or 3 more hours or whatever it is, and now you're stuck not making that money. Yeah, exactly. So overseas, the minimum is 32 hours with a 20K tier, and that's for anyone outside of USA and Canada that's gifting you. So maybe that's what you're looking at, but it's definitely 30 for the main tier, the main bonus. So yeah, so you have to be able to put in at least 30 hours. I would say at least 32. 30 hours. You can't have more than 1 account obviously signed. The beans from overseas you have to pay back also if you're in USA. No, you don't. What do you mean you have to pay them back? No, you don't. You might be thinking about illegal beans, but not overseas beans. Maybe? I don't want to like shit talk you, but if you're an agent, you should know this. You're giving wrong information out. Hi, Straight. Welcome in. So no, you don't have to. Hi. You like to join my agency? Well, if you give me a follow, I can get you set up. As long as you're in USA or Canada, I can get you set up with that. How much can a host make per month? So the minimum that you can make if you hit a tier is $100. For everyone who isn't Missy. I think this should be a learning opportunity for everyone who isn't Missy. They take it from your quota. No, they don't, Juicy Red. You were giving the wrong information. You need to stop giving out that information. If you're not a real agent, please don't be saying things in here because that's not true. So what you're probably getting confused is illegal beans, and illegal beans is when someone goes to gift you on here, they recharge, they gift you say $100 of beans, and then they go to their bank and they mark it as fraud. They mark it as fraud, and then if they mark it as fraud, then BIGO will take that back and take it from the host. It doesn't happen that often, but it can. No, it's not, Midnight Snack. No, it's not 20% of your tier. No, they don't take overseas beans out of your... Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. It's not 20%, guys. Okay. A lot of you guys clearly are not agents or don't know anything that has changed on BIGO. So, overseas beans, before... Okay, lead them wrong. I can screen share. Oh my god. Can I just explain? I've been here for 4 fucking years. Can I just explain, please? I'm drinking alcohol too, and I'm still not stupid. Okay, listen. So, when BIGO first started, well, not first started, but what, like over a year ago now? Overseas, when you would get overseas, only 20% would count to your in-region tier. Now there's 2 different tiers. There's an in-region and an overseas. They don't take it from your tier. You are just hitting 2 different tiers. Right, you guys are giving the wrong information in my time slot. So how about you just keep your mouth shut and let me talk, because I'm the one that got chosen to be up here, and if you're an agent, like you say, you clearly weren't chosen to be up here, and I am. Right. Okay. So let's just put that out there. BIGO knows I know what I'm talking about. Period. So anyway, so when you get gifted and it is from an overseas and out of the, not in USA and Canada. Yeah. Where are my admins at, for God's sake? say you get 100,000 beans from someone in the USA. That is 100,000 that is now going to your USA in region tier. If you get 50,000 beans from someone in the UK, that goes 50K to your overseas tier, right? That's not taking it from here. That doesn't take it out. Now, when you look at your live data, it says overall beans. It says in region beans, or no, overall beans, local beans, and overseas beans, right? So your overall beans is all your beans that you made for the month. That is not your tier. Do not look at that. That is what you guys are getting confused on. Then if you go down to your local beans is what your in-region tier is, meaning the 100K will be there. Then underneath that for overseas, that's your overseas tier, and that will say 50K. That does not mean that that is taken from your tier, because the overall beans is not your tier. That's what you're getting confused on. So whoever your agent is clearly didn't teach you correct. Any more questions? Does that make sense now? So no, it doesn't take it from your tier. There is 2 different tiers. And I'm not trying to be a bitch, but you guys are not going to come in here and start telling people the wrong things while I'm trying to talk to people. Okay? So the overall beans is all the beans you made in a month. The local beans is how many beans you've gotten from USA and Canada, and the overseas is how many you've gotten from any other country. And those 2 are different tiers. Those two bottom numbers get updated every 3 to 4 days. So they're not always going to be accurate. So on the bottom, it will say last updated 1/16 or whatever day last updated. You need to make sure that you understand that that is not updated every single day. So anywho, so how much can a host make every month? So the minimum you can make is $100. So if you get 5K for, you know, when you first start, the minimum you can get is 5K for 3 months. After that, the minimum is 10K. Both of that's 5K, 10K, or both $100. Kimmy, I'm going off on people because they're coming in here acting like they're going to tell everyone the wrong information. And that's why BIGO picked me, because I'm not going to do that, okay? So thank God that person was not picked for this. Because holy shit, BIGO, those are the people you need to look into as agents, for real, for real. Fake